Yeah, so if you're looking to sell 100,000 copies of your book in 5 years, so that this can be the profit, this one can be the profit that I make. Yeah, so here's the spreadsheet that I've laid out for you. Wow. If this really works, you're the new J.K. Rowling, baby. Hi beautiful souls, it's Tan back here today with another Venus in the Houses Synastry video, and today we're going to do Venus in the 10th house. So I have made an introduction video to Synastry. You can click the links up above and in the description box below to watch, so you can kind of get an idea about what each of the houses mean in a Synastry reading, because they're going to kind of mean something a little different from in your natal chart reading. So you can watch that and then come and watch this video. So, Venus is that part of someone that's all about love and relationships and harmony and art and romance and culture and music and pleasant things. So when Venus comes into another person's 10th house, that Venus kind of becomes like a Venus in Capricorn, sort of. So, because the 10th house is the house of your calling and your public image, the 10th house person, first of all, is going to have a very high respect for the Venus person with this overlay. Now, of course, we all know that respect is a very important thing to have in a relationship. So if, what I've seen with this placement is that if it's just Venus sitting there and Venus is making harmonious aspects to other planets, then this can be a really, really nice thing to have in a synastry, because, the house person sees something in the Venus person, certain qualities within them that they feel they have some kind of maturity about them. The Venus person has some kind of maturity about them. The Venus person has something that I really kind of like, that I look up to. But I have also seen with this placement that, if it's not just Venus there, if it's also the Sun coming in there in the 10th house as well as Venus, or maybe Mars, or if Venus is not making very nice aspects, like if it's squaring Saturn or something, then what can happen is, because the house person is going to have a lot of respect for the Venus person, that Venus person, if they have Sun or Mars, something like that there as well in the 10th house, the planet person can feel that they are able to shape the house person into what they think the house person can become, and sometimes that can be a little too much. Like, it's not necessarily that the planet person will feel like the house person is less immature, it's not like that, but it's just more of like the house person makes the planet person's they bump up the planet person's more, how do I say, mentoring or coaching qualities. So the planet person will want to become like a mentor or a coach to the house person. So it's great for a working relationship. But if you are in a romantic relationship and this gets too far, then that relationship can kind of, have this tone to it where it becomes like a coaching session, mentoring session in some ways, where the planet person can kind of be telling the house person what to do to better themselves, things like that. But yes, the other thing about this placement is that, a lot of the times when you go out together, people are likely to view you as a couple, as like a beautiful couple, because Venus is all about beauty, of course, or as just like a very graceful, elegant couple. So you can have a kind of like a nice public image, and you probably, unless Venus is aspecting Pluto or something, probably like to be more of a public couple. You can kind of like to go out together more, but not in a sense of like, oh, you socialize and you go party. It's not like that. It's not Venus in the 5th house. It's more of like you like to be seen on a public platform, like maybe social media, or just somewhere that is public, like the mall, the street. You know, you can kind of, you know, in that kind of very public kind of a setting, impersonal public settings, be viewed as a good-looking couple, like you just fit well together in some way. Yeah, somehow I often see with this placement that the Venus person kind of feels that the house person, and this can be vice versa, can somehow enhance their calling in life in some ways or another. But I have seen this mostly that the Venus person is doing this. The Venus person is usually the one that is acting in a way that is like, oh, you can enhance my reputation in the world in a sense. And the Venus person, you know, might want the house person to help them with certain things like, you know, can you like help me study for this exam that I have coming up in order to get this degree so that I can proceed in my career. Or maybe can you help give some advice on certain things that I'm doing in my job, you know, because the Venus person trusts the house person to do that, and the Venus person sees the house person's kind of 10th housey things, their calling, their reputation, as something that they can take something from to enhance their own calling and reputation. But it can work either way as well. You know, the house person can also feel that the Venus person can help them to do that too. Oh, yes, and this placement is probably also really good if the two of you somehow want to work together in a way, and there might even be this element of that, like, you met because of your reputation in a sense. It can go either way, like it's either the house person knows the Venus person because of their reputation, or the Venus person knows the house person because of their reputation, and they're attracted to each other's reputation and public image. So if either one of them is more of a public figure, or maybe it's at a work situation, you know, and they feel like, oh, I like the way this person, you know, just carries themselves and appears, you know, in the public, and things like that. So they're attracted to each other because of that. But yeah, I think one of the things that might not be so desirable with this placement is that because the people like to be seen together in public as beautiful and things like that, we're looking for something deeper in a relationship, right? We're looking for maybe the moon is in a deeper house, or the other person's Venus, the house person's Venus, falling into a deeper kind of a more intimate house, because that can kind of bring the focus of the relationship inwards a little bit, rather than how are we going to look together to the public today. And keeping up images can be a thing that I've seen with this placement, and the image that the two people can keep up, you know, to the public, and how they want to be seen by the people in the public, and it can even be how they want to be seen by friends and family, sometimes doesn't necessarily reflect what's going on within the relationship, the deeper things in the relationship. So something to kind of, you know, consider there is how to be more personal, I would suppose, how to be more personal with each other, how to be more comfortable just being together, just the two of us, you know, without thinking about how we're gonna appear to other people. Because we kind of don't want to get to a point where one person is, I guess in the extreme case, covering up for the other person, right? Like the other person's done something and they're just kind of covering up because they want the image to look really nice. They want other people to view them as such a pleasant and successful and couple. But you know, apart from that, this pairing can lead to success between the two people, in a sense that, you know, material success can really come from this place, because Venus does rule money and material things after all. So they can have the kind of like a similar approach to material things and how they want to go about in the world getting those things together. So it can be a very nice practical thing to have in a relationship. That's my take on Venus and Partners 10th house. If you have this placement, please do leave a comment below and let us know what your experiences have been. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button below if you haven't. If you already have, then thank you very much for coming along with these astrology videos, learning, growing together, and having better relationships with the people around us. I'll see you soon, guys. Bye!